going to exceed 5 o'clock, so that next time people will also come on time and without any delay. All right. So I believe you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's start the class in earnest. This is Engineering Society. As you are aware, so my name is Engineer Dr. Kehinde Orolu from Systems Engineering. I'll be taking this course by the grace of God. This course is just one unit, and so we have only one half of the class at the end of the day. I'm a registered systems engineer, and I'm a corporate member of the Nigeria Society of Engineers. So what we will be doing in this class is all about engineering, usefulness and impact in the society. Excuse me. And as engineers in training, it's important you know what this is all about as you move on in career and in training. So I like to know you better in a sense. We're going to get to that in a moment. And like I've said, it's just a 1 hour class. So we are starting today on this note, and in subsequent days, we may have physical class, and at some other time we may have online class. So we determine whichever way it will be, well ahead of time. So if we are going to have a physical class, we will announce it ahead of time. You will know where the venue is and the time and whatever details that is needed. Before I also go on, I'd like to know how many departments do we have here. Please, on your, you may have to rename your name in your Zoom name using your matric number and your first name or your surname, either anyone that, okay, your matric number and your surname, let's use that. Your matric number and your name. You may write your name in full if you like, but at least let's have your surname, even if you don't write full name, your matric number, your surname. Please, this is very important for the sake of this class because that serves as our attendance. The attendance is automatically recorded, but it is your screen name that will show in my list. I'm not going to do a screenshot of your names or writing no, automatically your names is stored in the drive. So please use your real name and your matric number so that I can know your department by that. And of course, I know who attends class. Please, let's do that in the next 30 seconds. Everybody, I'd like you to do that, please. Okay. All right. All right. There are still a few people that have not done so. Please do that. If you don't do that, it's as good as not attending the class because I won't be able to locate who you are or what your name is. Take, for example, your screen name here is Jojo. Jojo does not exist in our list. It's not a matric number, and probably that is a nickname, or your screen name is iPhone. iPhone is not a name, so it's as good as you are not in class. If that is the name you leave there, I won't force you out of the class, but it means you are not in class. That's just the implication. So please do that now. Change your screen name to a proper name, matric number with your name, so that we move on from there. All right. So just to identify, I like to know systems engineering. Are you here? If you are here, you can just do a thumb up on your from your screen to show your presence. Okay, that's good. systems are here. Chemical engineering, petroleum and gas, you can just do a thumb up. Okay, great. So you can put down your hand. Surveying, are you here? Anybody from surveying? Okay. Okay, good. MetaMath, are you here? All right, that's good. Which other department? Electrical, computer, are you here with us? All right, great. What about biomedical? Are you joining us too? Is there anybody from biomedical here? Do you have anybody from biomedical engineering? Okay. What about mechanical? Do we have anybody from mechanical? Anybody from mechanical? Okay, I don't think they are here. Civil, are they here? No, I don't think so. Is there any department I have not mentioned? Somebody should remind me, please. Okay. All right. So let's get down to business. Thank you for indicating. You are all welcome. You are all welcome. All right. You are all welcome. Okay. In any case, your class reps have my contact. If you have any reason to communicate with me, you can get in touch with me through your class reps, or you can get in touch with me through the class reps. I'm always very accessible and available to respond to issues. All right, so let's get down to business. There's something I like us to do as a form of quick assessment for this class. So what you're going to do in the next to 10 minutes, you're going to actually type the answer. It's going to come up to your screen in a moment, like a quiz. But I also want you to get a writing material beside you, a notebook, and a biro. All right. So you're going to open a fresh page. And so whatever you type on the screen that you're going to type and click to submit, you're also going to copy it by hand into that notebook. There is a reason for that, and I want you to follow it. Now, what you're going to do in the next 5 to 10 minutes is very important, very critical to this course, and also critical to your life as an engineering student. So quickly, if you don't have any writing thing beside you, get something. And if it is possible while you are on the call, you can open a notepad on your device, depending on what device you are using, and it will not disrupt the communication or the interaction with the Zoom. You can as well make use of that. So instead of looking for a physical writing material. So are we set? Are we ready? I need to hear a response. Somebody should just answer yes.
Yes, sir, we're ready.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, so what you see here is what you're going to do, but just wait a moment for the poll to come up. You're going to see that now. So I'm launching a quiz on your screen now. All right. So can you see the poll? So you're going to answer for each in each question that you have there. You can actually click and respond directly. Okay, there are just 6 questions. They are not, it's not, you didn't need a textbook to respond to any of the question. So it's basically the same thing you have on the screen, and it's what you have on the poll. All right. So the first thing is, what is your name? I mean, you know your name, so just answer your name. Excuse me. Just answer your name. Then what's your department? You know that, so you don't need anybody to tell you that. Just answer that. Then from number 3 is now your own personal response. What sparked your passion for engineering? I like to know why are you here? Why not medicine? Why not computer science? Why not biochemistry? Why not business administration? Why not economics? Why not theater arts? Why not creative art? Why engineering? Why systems engineering? Why chemical engineering? What sparked your passion for engineering? I'd like you to answer that. And then the 4th question is, how do you see your chosen field of engineering contributing to the advancement of society in the future? So you also need to answer that. Is your question. Then one interesting one, what is your life goal? What's your life goal? All right. Then after that, the last question, how will your choosing field of engineering help you achieve your life goal? So I like to see your responses in all of this. Okay. So only one person so fast. Somebody has already answered all. Somebody else. So like I said, whatever answer you provide there, copy it somewhere else. There is a reason for that. You will understand at the end of the class. So, but please copy your answer somewhere. Copy your answer somewhere. You're going to see what we will do with that at the end of the class. Only 2 people have completed the questions. I'd like to see more people. Only 3, 4. Those of you writing your name in the chat box, I don't need that. I have asked you to just rename your name properly in your screen name. Just do a proper rename. You don't need to type your name in the chat box. We don't need that. Just make sure you change your name properly to your screen name. Okay. For those just joining us, I hope you can see the self-assessment quiz that is on the screen. So please do that. And I've also mentioned that rename yourself properly if the name showing is not your real name. Make sure you have your matric number written alongside the name so that your attendance will be properly taken. So please do that. You don't have to write anything in the chat box. Just write your screen name properly. That is sufficient for the attendance. I still see many people not complying with that. But please, in your own interest, do comply. Okay, the number is growing. We have 36 now. So let's have more. And there are well over 100 on this call currently. So let's see more of you. Now, the person who has iPhone as the name, I ask you to rename, and you are still disturbing the class. Well, it's as good as not coming to class. That's the implication. Because your name will not be located in the attendance. iPhone is not recognized as the name. We have spent about 8 minutes on this quiz. We have 2 minutes more. Please, once it is 10 minutes, I will end the poll. So that's where we'll stop. So if you are here to respond, please do that now in the next 2 minutes. This shouldn't take long. I know, well, you might not have thought of life goal, some of these things before, but just put something, just write something. You don't have to there is no right or wrong answer. It's your answer. There is no right or wrong. So you don't think you will now be marked. Don't think if you don't write some very excellent stuff, in a sense, you now have a low mark. No, this is not a kind of a question that will now be graded on such kind of criteria. The important thing is that you respond. That's what is important in this quiz. It's your own self-assessment. I don't have that power to determine what should be your life goal. Whatever you put there is your own idea, and that belongs to you. So feel free to write whatever you like. Don't be afraid of anything. Somebody has 17 as his name or her name. Please rename yourself. 17 does not represent anything. You will be marked absent for this class if that is the only thing that you can see. All right, any moment from now, I'm going to stop it. There's still a few of you not, we have over 100 respondents now out of 187 in class. So we just have some seconds now, so please do something so that at least your number or your name will be there. Okay. More people are joining the class, I understand. So, but just put something. We just have to stop it because I know till we end the class, more people will still join. And so we cannot wait for everybody. You know the time you're supposed to be in class. All right, but don't worry, even if you cannot answer now, there is still something about it at the end of the class, which everybody will have all unlimited access to participate. So just relax. Don't feel agitated. All right, I'm going to stop it now. Okay. Thank you very much for everybody who has responded. At least 124, 25 have responded. And so it's a good number. Thank you so much. So I'm ending the poll so that we can move on to the lecture. Thank you so much for your response. I really appreciate. All right. Okay. I'm not going to share the results on the screen because these responses are to an extent personal, but I will just try to look at a few statements made by some of you, most especially what sparked your passion for engineering. And I'll just read that up to you just for comments.
So I was not able to.
You are not able to do what? Hello?
I was
Who is speaking there? You are not able to do what? Yeah, I like to hear that, but yeah, get quiet. I have said it that everybody may not be able to because everybody didn't come to class on time. Those who came early, they started with us, they have been able to. So, but don't worry, you still have access to this again. Just relax. Just let's go into the class and see what we have as per the course for today. Just a moment. Okay. Sorry. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So as I was saying, so I'm going to stop share. Okay, no, I don't need to stop. I'm trying to open the response so that I can read out one or two comments, then we take it up from there. Okay. So as I was saying, the question was spark your passion for engineering. Hello, please mute yourself if you are not addressing the whole class. Okay, at least that saves us some time. Okay, so let me read somebody's response. What sparked your passion for engineering? The fellow said that, well, it all started when I was a kid. I was always fascinated by how things worked and loved solving puzzles. As I grew up, that curiosity turned into a passion for engineering. I just love the idea. That's a great one. Somebody else said mathematics and calculations spark his passion for engineering. And I said the drive. And I said problem solving. These are great reasons why you want to be an engineer. There are so many. Somebody said my love for innovation. Okay. Another one said, what sparked my passion for engineering was my passion for inventions and robotics, which is very amazing. inventions like satellites, like wood things of making a satellite out to space. It's amazing. Okay. Somebody says he likes to analyze and solve problems using chemical, mathematical, and physical concepts. Okay. Oh, somebody said my secondary school teacher. I love to hear that. Somebody said my love for inventing things. Somebody said I love to imagine and build things that could solve the world problems. I love to solve problems and think critically. I love all these responses. So I can't read all the responses. So in case I'm not reading your own, it doesn't mean your own is not fantastic. I'm only reading randomly. I'm not picking in any order. So everybody has written great. Oh, I saw somebody said money. That's cool. That's cool. Somebody said I felt that I was kind of connected to it. Wow. Another one said the idea behind construction and processing of materials and suiting feeling in calculating. Okay, now. My passion for engineering sparked from a combination of curiosity and creativity. I've always been fascinated by how things work and enjoy solving problems. Now, those are just clips of different things that ignited your passion for engineering. And you have well expressed yourself. Please give me just a minute. Okay, thank you. I'm here now. All right, so different things spark your passion for engineering as has been generously expressed in that brief, quick self-assessment. I didn't bother to check what's your life goal, but I will still check that later and other questions. But that helps us to kickstart the conversation. So let's get down to what is engineering? Okay. Do we have anybody want to give a try? What is engineering? Hello. You can just signify, or you can type your response in the chat box if you don't want to speak. What is engineering?
Engineering is the application of scientific and mathematical principles to design machines, devices, and some systems involving the use of imagination and creativity, sir.
Wow. I love your definition. That's great. That's good. It sounds very nice and comprehensive. Right. So you have said a lot of things as a definition of engineering, and I know if we ask more people to give response, you will also give a response that may be different, but will definitely be related to what has been shared. So let's not waste time on that. Thank you for that beautiful definition. So what I have here, over time, the field of engineering has actually evolved. It has grown so much such that you may not have one definition that captures everything about engineering. So different people have come up with different definitions. And so many of these definitions, they are good, just like the one you just gave us. There are also so many definitions that are equally in that space. So like here, engineering is a profession that involves the application of scientific, technical, and mathematical concepts for utilization of natural laws and physical resources to attain practical ends, such as the design, manufacture, operation of efficient, and all of that. So that seems also close to what you just gave us, like to define what engineering is. So another concise way to talk about engineering is to say it's the application of science for the efficient utilization of natural resources to produce wealth. This is a concise definition of what engineering is. And so in it, you see application of science, you see in planning, design, construction, and maintenance of manufactured entity. So you will see very soon who you are or who you should be as an engineer, or what you are planning to be as an engineer as you go on in this. So we then move on to who is an engineer. All right, we have defined what is an engineering, then who is an engineer? Is somebody who has been trained in the design, construction, and use of engines or machines, or in any of various branches of engineering. So nobody can claim to be an engineer if he has not gone through some form of training, formal training in design. Design is very key when it talks about engineering. Anybody can learn how to use engines or machine. Anybody can fabricate. Anybody can copy things. But it is not everybody that can design. And so the critical component of who you are is actually in the design. That is the part that not everybody can do. And that is the critical part of your training, to know how to design. And that's where your imagination, your creativity, your innovation thinking comes in, to design. All right. You are problem solvers who search for quicker and less expensive ways to meet tough challenges. That's an engineer. Okay. So if you don't design, the technicians cannot fabricate. They cannot do anything. So you are a thinker. You think, you design, you come up with an innovation and an innovative solution to a problem. You consider many factors, then you come up with a design which, if implemented, will solve the problem. So that's an engineer, and that's what engineering really is about. So don't feel less an engineer when people are looking at you as if you are like you are not doing what the technicians can do. No, that's everybody has his own role. You're going to see that shortly, but design is very key. And so when you are thinking of by the time you get to final year, you are trying to do a project, don't neglect the design part, because that is the real engineering. Some people just go and couple things together and then they have a project. That's not engineering. The design is the real part. So take note of that. So courses that relate to design, don't joke with it. It's very, very important to your skill and your training as an engineer. Okay. So people who are qualified in or practice engineer are described as engineers, and they may be licensed and formally designated as professional chartered or incorporated engineers. Now, when we started, for those who came late, I introduced myself as engineer Dr. Kenjo. Now, I didn't just put engineer title. I am licensed. I am formally licensed. I'm a professional engineer registered by Coren. So I have that right to use that title, engineer, behind my name. And so it's not everybody that can use that title. Not because you have graduated from engineering, then you just automatically assume that title. No, there are processes. I'm going to show us in a moment as you move on. Okay, so that's who an engineer is. As an engineer, there are some skill sets which you should have, which some of you have expressed in the things that spark your interest, your passion in engineering. And so I'm happy that we have people here. They didn't just find themselves in engineering faculty. They actually have interest. They actually have interest. So, well, this lecture is being recorded. So at the end of the class, two things will happen. I'm going to upload it on my YouTube page. So you can then go there, watch it if you want to see more of what we have done in class today or what we did. And for those who, for whatever reason, they are not able to make the class, they will have access to it from there. So in case you have any battery problem for your device, make sure you check that. However, I will also send the slide to the class through the class reps. So you're going to have access to this slide I'm sharing with you. All right. So there's no need to panic. Somebody has raised a question in the using the question and answer chat. You can ask a question through that as we move on. If you have a question, I will attend to it. All right. So as an engineer, you must have technical expertise, which is what you are learning primarily in your various engineering disciplines. So the technical expertise should be there for a chemical engineer, for an electrical engineer, for a systems engineer. There are some core technical skills that are peculiar to those areas. So you get to have that. Then you must have analytical and problem-solving skills. Some of you have expressed this in your passion, that you have that skill already. So you are a good candidate for engineering discipline because you already have that. So definitely that passion, I mean, that skill would be enhanced further by the various courses you take. Your engineering mathematics, for example, they are there to enhance your analytical and problem-solving skills, okay? So you'll be able to identify and solve complex problems creatively and efficiently. Communication and teamwork skills, ability to communicate technical concepts to both technical and non-technical audiences, ability to work with others to carry out successfully a project. So all of these are critical in as a skill set for an engineer. Project management skill, and there are ethical considerations as well. There are implications for our decisions. Like they say, if doctor wants to kill, he will probably kill one person at a time. But if an engineer will kill, there will be scores, hundreds, even thousands that can go at once. Imagine a collapsed bridge on a busy day. You can imagine what that would mean in a populous environment. And imagine when a building collapses, you can imagine the implication, how many lives that will be lost. And so engineers cannot afford to make mistakes. And that's why our actions and inactions have implications. And so there are ethical implications of our decisions and the importance of our innovations. We must do that responsibly as engineers. So it's very important as part of our skill set. So moving forward, top reasons to be an engineer. Many of you have expressed reasons why you want to be an engineer. Many of you have expressed reasons why you want to be an engineer. So in case your reasons, you couldn't even find any tangible reason, I have outlined there some reasons why you should be an engineer. And some of them actually align with your expression already. You work to solve global problems such as hunger. You want to improve life and, provide clean water, protect the environment, and improve the quality of everyday life. These are great reasons to be an engineer. Remember, currently the SDG goals. The SDG goals, they are all about providing zero hunger, clean water, environmental sustainability, and the likes. And so the engineer is at the heart of this carrying out this innovation. So it's a good reason to be an engineer. So if you are looking for a field that allows you to use your creativity every day, engineering is one. It gives you a chance to collaborate with other professionals, including lawyers, doctors, government officials, and from different fields. You get people to work with. Engineering gives you that leverage. You have opportunities for rapid advancements, even in your organization or company where you work. So there are so many of such reasons why you may want to be an engineer. Engineers too have opportunity to make good money, either in terms of salary or you want to start your own business. You can easily start a business as an engineer, your own company as an engineer. You may be providing services, you may want to manufacture things and all of that. So you have that opportunity over other disciplines that may not have that kind of leverage. And the last one here is that engineering has more impact on the world than any other profession. Do you agree with that? Or you want to dispute that claim? Is there anybody who doesn't agree with that?
We agree, sir.
So,
agree, sir.
thank
Yes, sir.
you for the agreement. All right. Now, so what are the things that we consider engineering content? Number one, engineering is an art. So in your design, you are not only designing for functionality, you're also designing for aesthetics. You know, you're not just designing a system that will only solve a particular problem. You want that system to be attractive, to look good. So you see different vehicles or cars coming out year in, year out. It's not just only the technical functionalities that make them look great, but you see the aesthetics that come with the vehicle design. And so engineering is an art. Engineering is an art, and it's very important to take note of that. So you always find a blend or a communication between engineering and those in creative art or visual arts, because you share some things in common. Engineering is an approximation. You need to know this. At times, engineering problems are underdefined. So in many occasions, there are many solutions. Some solutions are good, some solutions are bad, some solutions are indifferent, and this you find them in reality. So the art of engineering is to arrive at a good solution. So good solution, at times we call them optimum solution. Optimum solution does not necessarily mean that it's the best solution, but under that condition, considering many things, that might be the most acceptable solution or practicable solution or feasible solution at that time. And so these are reality. And at times you may not be able to get the exact solution to problems. And that's engineering for you. So you see measurement, estimation, forecasting, projection as part of things engineers do. You see modeling, you see simulation. These are engineering content. Communication, technical reporting, presentation. So don't say, oh, I'm only an engineer. I'm not a good communicator. I don't need to learn how to speak good English. No, you got to communicate. You got to defend your proposals. You got to write proposal for project. You got to apply for projects. You got to manage people. You're going to supervise people. People are going to work with you. You must be able to communicate. You must be able to coordinate. You must be able to express your intention. Even your creative design, you must be able to express it. It's a communication. Your design is a communication. So these are things you need to take as an engineer. Other things that we also need to see, there is finance in engineering. You deal with money, so you must have understanding of money. There are courses where you're going to learn about finances in engineering, project management. So money is involved. You must know how to manage that too. Invention is part of engineering, design process. I mean, this is core of our business. All right, so let's look at the engineering family. I mentioned the other time that we have different people that make up the engineering profession, especially in our country, Nigeria. And everybody has his own role, has his own way and things they do. So you have the engineer, and we have a society called the Nigeria Society of Engineers. That is a society for all engineers. In a future lecture, I will tell you more about the Nigeria Society of Engineers and how you can join, even as a student. There is a student registration. You can register as a student, and then you'll be able to participate in the activities of the Nigeria Society of Engineers. And in fact, the Lagos branch of the Nigeria Society of Engineers, the branch secretariat is inside University of Lagos at the Fiscal and Works Planning on the way to, beside the School of Foundation office, on the way to DLI, if you pass through Access Bank. That's where the secretariat is, and there are meetings every month which you can participate, and they organize programs, site visits, visit to industries once in a while, so which you can easily be part of. And there are also programs for young engineers, which you can also join. So I'll tell you more about that in our future classes. Then we have the technologists. Now, the technologists are not engineers. They have their own association called the National Association of Technologists in Nigeria, NATE. I'll tell you more about them also as you move on. We have the technician. So they also have their own association called the Nigerian Society of Engineering Technicians, NISET. Then we also, yes.
So what's the difference between technologist and technician?
So we are going to get there in a short while. We're going to get there in a short while. So then we have the craftsmen. They also have their own association, the Nigeria Association of Engineering Craftsmen, the Nigeria Association of Engineering Craftsmen, NAEC. So we're going to get to that in a moment. Now, so let's look at the qualifications. For you to qualify as an engineer, you know, there are only kinds of people that can register as an engineer, that can join the membership of Nigeria Society of Engineers, or that can be registered by CORE, Council for Registration of Engineering, Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. There are classes of people that can do that. So for you, you must have gone through training, have a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Engineering or Bachelor of Technology in Engineering. So in Nigerian universities, if you've gone through university like you are doing now, by the time you graduate, you qualify to become an engineer, a practicing engineer, or a member of the society. Okay, Owumo, your father, you raising your hand. Do you have a question? Do you have a question? Somebody's asking difference between technology and technical. I'm going to get to that in a moment. So we're going to get there. Okay, Owo Moyofade, do you want to speak? You can speak. Let me hear you. Hello. Okay, let's move on. Since you are not ready to speak, maybe you have issue with your device. Don't worry, at the end of the class, you can bring the question if it is not answered already. Now, for those who have HND, those who have gone to Polytechnic and they have HND, ordinarily these are technologists, but I will explain more on that just in a moment. These are technologists, they are not engineers. All right. So, but for them to become an engineer, all right, for them to switch and join the engineering, to become an engineer. Now, all of these are members of the engineering family anyway, but for them to become an engineer and be accredited as an engineer, Koren also is the one accrediting them as technologists. But for them to be accredited as engineers, they will have to if they cannot go and do Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Engineering coming to university to do that, there are some universities that offer postgraduate diploma in the various engineering field, whereby someone who has done HND can now go and do the PGD. So with that, he qualifies to now be like equivalent to a BSc, and then he can be admitted as an engineer. So that's what some people do to be qualified as an engineer, not just as a technologist. But not every university accepts to do PGD for people who have HND, like University of Lagos. They don't have such a program for HND, but some other universities do. So that's one way. Some people studied abroad, you know, the way they do classification of degrees in some other countries of the world varies. So some degrees in engineering, depending on the university, the countries or university, could be equivalent to our bachelor degree in Nigeria. Some could be equivalent to Masters of Science degree in a sense. And so those ones, when they come back to Nigeria, their degrees are translated and then they are able to admit them properly. So people who have gone to study in countries like Bulgaria, Hungary, and some other universities in Russia and thereabouts, there is a way to do their degrees there, which would be equivalent to a BSc program. So you may be surprised, some universities or some schools, they bear the name Polytechnic something something, but their degrees is equivalent to our BSc here in Nigeria. So they will not look at them like HND, they will look at them as BSc, so they will admit them. Now, so when you are registered by Koren, then you are entitled to use that abbreviation engineer before your name. It is only after Koren has certified you, there is a process to doing that. I'll get you to know that process too in our future classes. There is a process of the registration, either with the Nigeria Society of Engineers or with the Koren. There are processes to go to get the registration done before you qualify to use that title, engineer. Right? And there are obligations. Every year you must renew your practicing license. So there are amounts to pay to do all that. So that's for the engineer. For the technologist, so for you to be a technologist, you have HND in engineering from accredited polytechnics or monotechnics in Nigeria. Also, there are some universities too outside the country that when they come, their own degree or their diploma is equivalent to HND we have here. Those will be classified as technologists. Okay. Now, when you are registered, as a technologist, your own abbreviation will be engineer.tech, but that will be after your name, not before your name. So that's why you will rarely see somebody referring to themselves as engineer technologist Ojo Ajayi. No, you only see it after their name. They write it after their name. That's for technologists. Then the third one, the technicians. Technicians are those who have OND from polytechnics or monotechnics, those who have full technological certificates, FTC, those who have advanced technician diploma. Those ones, they use tech after their names. When they write their name, they put tech. So those ones are technician. You may not be seeing that because not many people want to put that for whatever reason. So, but that's the practice, the actual formal practice. Then you have the craftsmen. So these are artisans. So those who went to technical school, NAPTEB, these who did trade tests, craft certificates from City and Guides. So those ones, they are craftsmen. So their title is craftsman. They will use their full title with their trade in brackets under their name. So when they write their name, then they put in bracket under whatever is their own trade, whether it's a tiler or it's a welder or whatever, that would be under their name. So those are the 4 members of the family of engineering family. You find all of this in a typical engineering project. Okay. So now, in how do we now get the mix of the various family in a particular project? So the ideal mix of engineers, technologists, technicians, or artisans depend on several factors. There is no one size fits all rule that we can say this is exactly how it must be. So there are so many factors that determine how many engineers you should have in a project, how many technologists, how many technicians, how many craftsmen. So there are so many factors that it depends on. And some of the factors is number one, project complexity. Complex projects requiring innovative solutions, we have a higher proportion of engineers for design and problem solving. We've mentioned that before, talking about the skill set for an engineer, and even in our definition, design is key. So when you have a complex project that involves thinking through, thinking out in the initial stage, most especially, you will have more engineers getting involved. Okay. But when you have simpler projects, you may just need technicians for execution more. Okay. Now, it also depends on the phase of the project. Like I said, in the early stage of the project, where you have the design, the conceptual design, the design, in that stage and the planning stage, you have more engineers involved. But at the later stage of like construction, like let's say, for example, you want to build a power plant. Okay, so at the initial stage of the conceptualization, the design, the planning, you have more engineers working on it. But when we now get to site, where you now have to be moving materials, installing things, constructing things, at that stage, you're going to have more technicians and artisans that will be involved at that stage of implementation. Then it also depends on the kind of industry you are also referring to. For example, software development, you're going to have, fewer artisans in that kind of industry, but you're going to have more technologists. So that's the way it will work. Construction projects, on the other hand, we have higher proportion of artisans for skilled building trades. You are building, say, road, constructing bridges, or you're building a house. You're going to have carpenters, bricklayers, tilers, painters. Those are craftsmen. You're going to have more of that. You probably you just have one engineer that will be supervising the site, in that kind of setting and all that. So now, so if you put all of them together, it forms a pyramid structure. And there is a general rule of thumb that we can follow. And so in a typical engineering project, so you can have one engineer, then 2 to 3 technologists that will support. Then you can have 4 to 8 technicians, then 8 to 16 or more artisans, depending on the complexity of the project, the phase of the project, or the nature of the project or the industry involved. So we determine what number of individual professional you will need in that project. So that's the rule of thumb that you can follow in doing that. Emmanuel Oluwatosin, I can see your hand. Do you have a question? Emmanuel Oluwatosin, are you still asking your question?
Yes, sir. The question. So the question is, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
How do you now keep tension between innovation and
Your voice is cracked somehow. Can
you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I said, how do engineers navigate tension between innovation and risk?
Oh, okay. I saw that in the chat box. Between innovation and risk. Yeah. When I talk about the skill set an engineer should possess earlier, one of the things mentioned there is also the ethical consideration. In projects, innovation and risk, every project has its associated risk, and the different types of risk involved. And so just imagine you come up with an innovation, you spend some time and resources to come up with that innovation, and then you present it to those that should use it, and they are not convinced that that system will solve the problem or will work, and they reject it. Maybe because you are not able to provide enough verification or validation for that innovation for them to accept it. Now, who bears the cost? The risk is yours in the sense because you have spent money and resources, and yet you cannot make any money out of it. So you bear your risk. Now, but let's assume that you have innovation, you present your innovation, and even though there are problems, flaws in the creation of your innovation, but because you, one way or the other, you are able to convince those who want to accept it, and they accept it, right? And it gets into the market and they are using it. Now, who bear the risk if there are problems? A building collapse, for example, as a result of your innovation, all right? The users bear the risk. Now, all of these combined together provide reasons why, just hold on, please. No, so all of these provide, there are risks involved and that you need to be concerned about. So there are ethical considerations you must, ethics you must consider, even your innovation. Then there are risks that comes with whatever innovation you introduce to solve a particular problem. it can be any, so it depends on how it turns out that determines who is affected and who bears the risk. So there are many uses around that, but we see more things as we move on in the class. All right, so that's the programming for the family. Now we can then talk about technology. We can then talk about technology. Because when we're talking about engineering, technology is a necessary related area we must always mention. Because we have talked about engineering as an application of knowledge to solve problems. So technology is also is involved. It's an application of knowledge to solve problems involving using scientific knowledge and understanding. So the essence of this is to look at the relationship between engineering, science, technology, and the society. So we're going to look at that in a more complex way. Engineering uses scientific ideas to develop technology and all that. So now, so let's look at this. The technology topic is another topic that we're going to get into in subsequent classes, but this is just to give us an idea into that. Now look at the diagram on your screen. All right. So there are 4 major things that you can see that we are trying to relate together. Can you mention the 4? Anybody?
Science, technology, engineering, and society and nature.
So the topic theme of this course is engineer in society. So we have here society and nature as the ultimate beneficiary or ultimate recipient or whatever happens between engineering, science, and technology. So you have the society and nature. The society and nature, they have needs. They have needs. And many a times, they communicate their needs, or the scientists, they see their needs. So the science recognize the needs and they propound theories. The technology at times recognize the needs and they create tools. But between science and technology, there is interaction. But what connects both science and technology together ultimately, and the society generally, is the engineering. Here, society and nature provide resources. They also have needs. Okay, there are resources in nature. That belongs to nature and society. So engineering sees the needs, then they harness the resources. So the input into the engineering is actually the societal needs and resources. Then they also take input from science. You know, engineering is defined as application of scientific knowledge. So science has provided the theories, they've created the knowledge. Then engineering take that as an input and they work with it. Technology, as has been defined, you know, they provide the tools. Engineering makes use of the tools. So putting all of this together, so engineering creates products and benefit for the society. So this is the summary of this whole class. The summary of everything we're going to be discussing in this class revolves around this structure. The input from the society, the input from science, the input from technology, then the products that is released back into the society. And that's why we call this course Engineer in Society. Okay, so you need to understand this structure and this relationship. Then you know the importance of science. You know the importance of technology. then you know the significance of the engineer in this whole arrangement. So if you remove engineering from this whole equation, then how do you think, or what do you think will happen to the society? There is not going to be products. There's not going to be benefits. Needs will still be there. Science will provide the theories, they will create the knowledge. Technology will provide the tool, but it will never get into the society. So if you look at the links, the arrows, you know, it's only the engineering that has that direct output back into the society. Every other person takes input from the society and nature. They all receive their input. The science receives its inspiration and input from the society and nature. Technology receives inspiration and input from society and nature, Engineering also receives input from society and nature. So, but engineering receives also input from science, from technology, then it gives back product and benefit. So when you pick your Android device, your phone that you are using now to access this class, it's a product of engineering, and that has become a gift back to the nature, and which is now serving, is meeting a need that has been expressed, which the technology and science try to create theories and roots and tools about. So that's the whole concept. So we're going to see more of that in our subsequent classes. Now, having said all this, I'd like to say this before I take further comments or questions. So I just take note. Having said all, when we started in the class, I asked you to do an assessment. You wrote down things and all of that. So you wrote those things in your notebook and all that. So the same, or in a modified version now, you're going to do that same question. I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm going to send this slide to you so you see the question properly. So this time around, you're going to now take your time and address some specific questions relating still to your goal, your passion, and all of that. Then you're going to submit this to an email address that has been provided. You have some days to do that. So the deadline for submission is Sunday, May 19th at 11:50 p.m. I decided to put it at 11:50 p.m. I don't want it to enter, say, 11:59, so that some people will not say, oh, I'm submitting at 12:01. It has entered the following day. No, I still want it that same day, 11:50, so that you can also sleep on time. All right. So that will be the deadline for something. And what are the questions you're going to deal with here? Now, similar to what you did before, but with little modification. You still have what is your name, okay? You still have what is your department. Then the question is this: having listened to me for about an hour now, are you still passionate about engineering? Okay, or having seen you have spent 1 year, 1 semester, this is your 4th semester, are you still as passionate as you were when you are about to enter? That's the question there. So if you say yes, that's great. So how do you see your chosen field of engineering contribute to the advancement of society in the future? Then what is your life goal? So you can now take your time to define it in case you have not thought about it before. So it doesn't have to be the same answer you gave when we started that you should give in this one. No, I want to be able to compare what has changed between then and now by your response. Now, how will your chosen field of engineering help you achieve your life goals? Now, these two are important, and you are going to make it as an engineering student. You need to be guided by these two things. What exactly do you want to achieve in life? Then how do you think being a chemical engineer will help you achieve that goal? The truth of the matter is, if you cannot see any correlation between what you are doing now and then what you want to be in future, it will be difficult for you to put passion into your study as an engineering student, because you feel like I pass or I don't pass, it doesn't change anything about me. So just be careless about it. So, but if you are able to connect your course with your life goal, then definitely you're going to make a difference. And so it is good that we are learning this in 200 level. So you still have, in case you have made some mistakes in your year one, or probably in first semester year two. So you still have about 7 more semesters to correct any mistake that might have been made. Okay. Now, the last question here, which is very important. Imagine yourself giving a valedictory speech on your graduation day. You know, so what would be your graduation valedictory speech? So let's say you are giving graduation speech. Now, there will only be one best graduating student in your department. Or maybe there is a tie, 2 of you have the same graduate GP. Or there will only be one best graduating student, engineering student in Faculty of Engineering. Or there will only be one best student in the University of Lagos. So irrespective, even if you are not graduating as the best student in whatever, that's nobody has been given that title as at now. Nobody has that title. Nobody has that title, irrespective of whatever your GP is. Nobody has that title. So it is open to everybody. So imagine that you are the one giving that speech. So what will be your speech on that graduation? I like to read that speech. I like to read that speech. So take your time and think about all of this. And I'd like you to submit as given in the previous slide. Then let's see how we move on from here. I'm going to read all your submission, most likely. I will make effort to read them. And as much as possible, I'll provide personal feedback as much as possible. I'm not promising that I will do for all, but I will try to do for all. Now, this is the reason why I will try. The last 3 questions here, your life goal, your trophy feed, helping your life goal, and the validation feed, they are very important because at the end of your 5th year, graduating from engineering, I would like you to go back and check. So whatever you write in this course, I would like you to go back and revisit it and then compare whether you have walked in line with what you're set out to do. So many of you might have had things written in this line as a result of things you have heard before, things you have listened to, or maybe during your orientation program, people have spoken in this manner, or many of you might not have even considered it for whatever reason. So, but I want you to consider it now under this course. Now, this course is Engineering Society. So it's going to be like a course that connects all the other courses you are going to do and the one you have done to make meaning out of your course as an engineering student. So I like you to pay attention and to see the future in this, okay? So that you will be able to you'll be happy with your achievements at the end of the day. So that's my counsel for you and the end of this class for today. So I'd like to hear from you if you have a question. If you have a
Sir.
go ahead.
I have a question, sir.
Okay, let's take it one by one. Let the lady goes first. So go ahead, please.
Sir, is there any professional exam in engineering, sir?
Professional exam. Now, yes, there is. Like I said, in our future class, I will still explain to you how to become a member of the Nigeria Society of Engineers and also a registered engineer. Now, all of this have exam. I'll quickly go over it now. So when you graduate as a fresh engineering graduate, the best you can be is to become a graduate member of the Nigeria Society of Engineers. So when your certificate is 4 years old, the reason is this: as a graduate engineer, you are still learning. So you are expected to start working under some form of supervision. So like you join a company, there is an organ supervising you. You have a boss you are reporting to. You are working to learn some things about the profession, about the practice. So by the time you have spent 3 to 4 years there, it's expected that you have learned enough to be able to also stand as a responsible engineer. So then you can apply to be a corporate member of the Nigeria Society of Engineers. So the process of application, you do the application on their portal, there are fees to pay. Then there's an exam that you will write. Then there's a report you will write, report of your practice. Now, it could be a report of a project you have participated in. So you write about it, just like you write your final year project. So you write about a project that you have done. At times, people just repackage their final year projects. If it is real engineering project, they repackage. Some companies where they work, the projects, the company they have done with the company is what they write the report about. The essence of that report is to see how well you have learned as in engineering practice over the period of since you graduated. All right, so that report, there will be an interview where some people will ask you questions. So apart from the exam, you will write the written exam, then the interview. So once you pass, then you will now be inducted into the membership of the society. That's when you can have that MNSE after your name. So whenever you see MNSE, it means a member. That's a corporate member of the Nigeria Society of Engineers. You can also become a fellow. There are also procedure and criteria to become a fellow. That's like a senior member of that profession. However, so when you pass with the Nigeria Society of Engineers, NSC usually send the names of those that passed. NSC they do their exam, I think now 2 times in a year. So there are times the application will be out, you apply and then do the exam. Then when you pass, they send your name to Koren, that these ones have been examined and they are passed. So then you also apply to Koren to be registered. Now, because you have passed NSC process, you won't need to do any exam with Koren again. Koren will only ask you to submit a summarized report, which is going to be a smaller version, unlike the one you submit to NSC. So you submit the report. Now, Koren will do one other thing. They will verify your school transcript. So you will apply for transcript from your university. They will send it to Koren to actually verify that you have actually gone through engineering training, so that not just anybody. Now, NSC will not ask you for transcript, okay? But Koren will ask for transcript. We want to verify that you actually qualified to be registered as an engineer. Now, NSC is just a professional society. They are not regulators. It's just a professional association helping you to develop. But Koren is a regulator. They are the one regulating engineering practice in Nigeria. So they will ask for your transcript. Your school will send transcript. Once they vet and all the other certificates, everything is submitted, they verify. Then when you pass, so they issue you your registration number. Then they also issue you a seal and a stamp. So that stamp is carefully made for you and you alone. Your name is engraven in the stamp. So when you do a design, it is that stamp you will put on it to show that you approve that design. Okay, and when anybody sees the design, they recognize that a registered licensed engineer has seen this design and he has approved it as correct. That's the meaning. So then that means you have license to practice. Today, it is a rule if you are registering an engineering company, there must be a registered engineer as part of the organization. So if you want to collect a contract, any major government-related contract, they will specify the various engineers that must be involved, and they want to see their practicing license. So their certificates of registration will be part of the things you'll be required to add to your submission to prove that you have competent hands to do the work you are bidding for. So these are the things why it is important. So that's the process. However, it is also possible to, without going through the Nigeria State of Engineer, to go to current straight and say you want to become a registered engineer. So in that one, the exams, similar to the one NSC will do for you, they will also do for you. You will do the exam, you will do the interview, write report, then they pass you. So those are the two routes that you can become, go through to become a registered engineer. If you go to current website, you can actually search names of engineers and see whether to see their names and their practicing. Every year, there is a practicing license everybody pays. If you don't pay, they just mark you inactive or not licensed to practice. So the meaning is that if you have not paid your practicing license fee for a year, by January 1, they just put your name as not licensed to practice, meaning that you have not been certified to practice this year. That's the implication. So everybody has to pay that, and there is an obligation. Then you get a license, a certificate every year to show that you are current and you are still practicing. So that's the way it works. Also, to be a member of NSC, there are also dues you pay every year. The meaning is that this is a profession that gives you a livelihood. So you should give back to them. So because it is through those monies they run the affairs of, to organize the programs they do and things they do and all of that. So that's basically the process. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sir, one more question. Can we go through all this you just mentioned with just a BSc degree?
Which one are you talking about?
All these exams you just mentioned now, can we go through,
Oh,
can
yes,
we do
yes,
them
yes,
just like having
yes.
just a BSc degree?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. They are not things, in fact, some of the things we're going to be discussing in this class are part of the things that we ask you. So in your field, there are discipline-specific exams. So a mechanical engineer or a chemical engineer will be asked chemical engineering related questions. So of course, there are also the branches also do organize tutorial when the time comes to do those exams, just to help individuals that want to do the, so as to help individuals. So they are not difficult. You can actually get through with your BSc. All right. Okay, so any other question?
Okay,
Akimbola, are you just
yes, Akimola, okay. My question is, what's the difference? Why some schools prefer to offer students
Can you
BSc?
speak up, please? I can barely hear you.
My question is, for instance, like they
Okay,
give out BSc to
okay,
engineering students. I think UI give out BTech.
okay.
What's the
BEng, BSc,
so
BTech, right?
what's the difference? Yes, what's the difference? And what makes them to give out the different certificates?
Well, currently there is a process going on which the NUC is managing. We have a curriculum review going on called CCMAS. So what they are trying to do now is to unify. It's not only engineering now, different programs to unify the practice. So it's going to now be a uniform degree. So in Unilag, we award Bachelor of Science in Engineering. Then in some other places, in any of the University of Technologies, what you see there is Bachelor of Technology, because it's a strictly University of Technology. So everything they believe is all about technology. We have seen briefly about technology in our today's class. We'll see more in our subsequent classes. So their own orientation is technology oriented. So everything they do is about towards technology. So they award Bachelor of Technology. In some other universities, they are Bachelor of Engineering. So there are little differences. Now, here in University of Lagos, for example, currently, you do CWES in year 4, all right? That's the only major CWES you do. But in some other schools, you're going to do CWES in 200, this CWES in 300, there's still CWES in 400. So they believe you have more practical exposure than just doing it. So those are the extra things they do with those who award BNG or BTech, you know. So, but they are trying to unify everything so that the process will be easy, and you do more CWES and all. In fact, just of recent, Koren said, just like the medical students do, that after their graduation, they go for outmanship, you know, before they come for youth service. They also want to introduce that to engineering graduate, so that when you graduate, you also go for like 1 year internship before you go for NYSC, you know, so as to solidify your training. Now, this time around, you won't go for that trying to go and be teaching in a secondary school. It's hard to be in a proper, you won't see a medical doctor saying he's doing housemanship and he's doing it in a classroom. He has to be in a hospital. So then you have to do it in an hospital and all. I mean, you know, for engineers, he has to be in an engineering company. So they want to introduce that. I don't know how soon that will come on board and all that. So these are the things to try to bring the training to become, so that the degree that will be awarded most likely will now be BNG, Bachelor of Engineering, not Bachelor of Science in Engineering. So, but that's the differences in all of those for now. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sir, this question is concerning the assignment.
Okay.
You said we should like write it down and then send to you. So I want to just make a suggestion that why can't we just use Microsoft Word to just prepare it?
Oh, the assignment, you are going to use Microsoft Word. You are not going to copy that into your notes. When we started, it's when I asked you to copy into your notes. But this time around, you're going to type in Microsoft Word properly and send, not by hand. Okay. So just try and do your own work. Don't just go and ask a ChatGPT to write a life goal or statement of a purpose for you. This is your own personal, I see some people laughing. This is your own personal life goal and what you want to achieve in life. So think about it yourself. And like I said, this assignment, I'm not grading it like this one pass, this one fail. No, it's your own expression. There is no, the only criteria here is that you submit. If you submit, if there is a mark for this assignment, everybody gets the mark. Once you submit, whatever you submit is your own expression of what you want to be. I cannot decide that for you. I don't have marking scheme for that. You know, I can only make comments that, oh, okay, this one, why didn't you consider this or whatever? Or why did you say this? All right. So, but take your time and think about it. You never can tell how this will shape your perspective about life and about your profession after now. So please give attention to it and do it properly. So that's just that about it. So yeah, I'm not expecting to see handwritten response on this. It has to be typewritten, Microsoft Word, and then sent. Thank you for that. So in our subsequent classes, there might be need for group assignments. And if you are not in a class and we do group assignments, you cannot participate. So there are also going to be individual assignments. The one we are doing today is individual assignment. There will be some other. So those are the things that will form our continuous assessment. we will not do any special tests in this course. After when we are done, exam will be just the only thing. But the assignments will form the continuous assessment. So please give it attention and then make it count. Okay. Do we still have any question or comments?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Our time has been well spent. We spent a little over 1 hour today, about 1.5. Because I'm first class, by God's grace, subsequent one to maintain the 1 hour. So thank you so much for coming to class today. See you again
Thank you.
next week. Have a wonderful time.
Bye for now, sir.
All right.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye.